The body, it turns out, is relatively easy. Well, for you, it's going to be incredibly easy because, well, I've done all the work for you. If we zoom back out again, Command-0, Control-0 on Windows, and come over to the Paths pane, click here, you'll see that this image is already preloaded with some paths that I've created. There's one for the body. If we click on it, you can see it here in the image. There's one for the leg. That's just the front leg, and one for the arm. And again, that's just for the front arm. There are overlapping elements in this image that will need to be dealt with as part of our illustration. So it's important to isolate all of these elements separately. Doesn't matter really so much that there are redundant pixels in the overlaps. The more important thing is that the frontmost elements are uniquely isolated and are, in fact, in the proper stacking order. We'll deal with all of that as we go along. The first thing that we're going to do is to actually use these paths to create discrete layers from these elements. And to do that is really very simple. We'll just select the body first. And so that we can really see what we're doing, let me come up and select the Layers panel. Then click and drag the Paths panel tab down to the bottom here. And we've effectively put the Paths panel underneath the Layer panel. And by the way, I've been using Photoshop long enough that these things we are now calling panels have been over the years called palettes as well as panes, and now, of course, panels. I'm getting old enough that I might interchange those terms throughout this series, so if you ever hear me say palettes or panes, know that I mean panels, and I'm basically talking about these boxes over here on the right that contain useful information. Okay. Only one layer up here right now, the background layer, but if we make sure that our body path is selected and click on this little circle made out of a dotted line, that's the tool to load this path as a selection. We'll click on it, one click, and you can see we now have marching ants where our path used to be. And we're going to use our extremely useful keyboard shortcut, Command-Option-J, to float this selection to a new layer. Now, Command-J will do it as well, but adding the Option key or the Alt key on Windows allows you to name things as you go, which just keeps things kind of neat. So, Command-Option-J, that's Control-Alt-J on Windows. Call this Body. And now you see we have a new layer made up of the selection that we just floated off of the background. You can turn off the background and see what that layer looks like. Very nice. We've certainly solved our tutu problem, so that's one problem down. All right, let's turn the background back on, select it again. This time we'll select the leg. Click to load that path as a selection, Command-Option-J. It's Control-Alt-J on Windows. We'll call this leg. Click OK. Select the background once again. And just so as you know, you could, if you like, click and drag this down to the new selection icon, if you like. Let go. Has exactly the same results. So if you prefer that, that's available to you. And once again, float that layer, give it a new name, click OK. Now we could have done that in reverse order and we'd be properly stacked, but we didn't. So we have to reorder things a little bit now into the proper stacking order. Basically, all that means is the arm and the leg need to be in front of our body layer. A couple of quick drags and we're done. And we can put the Paths pane back where it belongs. We won't be needing it again for a while. Click and drag. Reselect the Layers pane. And now let's take a look at how to select our model's head, including that long mane of hair.